say my name is John. I'm a co-founder here at International TEFL Academy. I'm originally from Southern California, but I was lucky. My parents were lifelong expats, so I grew up overseas in Cairo, Egypt, an amazing place. And I got to live and travel abroad from an early age, studied abroad, got into travel writing and journalism in college, and so worked on some travel guidebooks, and then uh, worked for the AP for a while, and then transitioned into international education and TEFL. I've been in the TEFL field for about 17 or 18 years. So just super happy to be here talking about teaching English in Japan, an amazing country, and to introduce my colleague and friend, Christy, who is going to be our Japan guide this evening as she taught there for a while. So Christy, why don't you tell the folks out there a little bit about yourself?
Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm sitting here drinking my matcha right now. um, like John said, I taught in Japan myself. I had no teaching experience before I got my TEFL certification here with International TEFL Academy. I knew I wanted to travel. I knew I wanted to explore the world, and I found out about TEFL. So after I got my certificate, I was able to teach in Japan. I also taught in Spain, Brazil online, from home, as well as while traveling. So lots of fun ways to do it. But I'm really excited today to chat with you guys about Japan because it was one of the most amazing experiences of my entire life, and it really opened up so many different doors. So excited to help you guys make it happen for you now.
All right. We also got Matt here on the team, an old friend and colleague of mine. So super happy to have you here, Matt. Matt, what's up?
I'm excited to hear what Kirsty has to say directly about her experience. Yeah, I've been on the team here for a long time. I'm mostly going to be on Q&A this evening, responding to some of your questions, but I spent a few years living overseas. I grew up in the Midwest. Family didn't do any sort of traveling. I was the first one, and took the opportunity to go learn German at the University of Bonn, which I parlayed into learning how to teach and meeting people from around the world, which gave me an interest in teaching English in Asia. I actually applied for jobs in both Japan and Korea and had offers in both. So I took the offer in Korea. I think I'm still allowed to be here though. I was
It's
able
nice
to
having options.
yeah, it's nice having options, right? So yeah, I spent a couple of years in East Asia. I traveled through Japan a bit and visited some of my friends who were teaching in Japan in Tokyo when I was living in Korea, in Seoul. I used to teach English to international students from all sorts of backgrounds here in the city of Chicago, where I reside now. And I've also worked online and did remote working in South America, in Colombia. So lived in a few different regions of the world, and we're glad you guys are all here.
All right. And there's Christy teaching in Japan. Christy, what's up with this photo? Why don't you just give us a little insight into, where you were teaching and who your classes were and so forth?
Yeah, of course. So I decided after getting my TEFL certificate here with ITA to apply for the JET program. If you haven't heard of the JET program yet, you will today. So hang in tight. We'll be sharing all the details. But the JET program was such an amazing experience. It's a government program where I got placed in a city called Himeji, which I had never heard of in my entire life. I remember when I got the email saying you got the job, and I was actually at work. I was serving at the time at one of those like movie theater fancy restaurants, and I got the email and I ran into the bathroom and I was like jumping up and down excited and looking. I was like, I have no idea where I'm going. That's the thing with some of these government programs, you don't know where you're going, but it turned out to be the best possible opportunity. I ended up getting hired on with the Board of Education there. I worked for 2 middle schools and 4 elementary schools. So it kind of broke it up where I was at 1 middle school each semester. And then every Thursday, I went to a different elementary school. It was really fun. I lived in a nice city that there was always something to do, and the Shinkansen was only 30 minutes to an hour to Kobe, Osaka, Kyoto. So I got to do a lot of really fun stuff. It was super central to be able to explore on the weekends and even at night sometimes after school. And it was just such a cool opportunity to be able to work in the public schools in Japan with the government programs. They do education differently. And so it was really cool to see the things that they do differently and how they teach the kids about nutrition. And the kids, when they're 5 years old, they're like planning little meetings about what they're going to do for the week. And it's always dodgeball. So this was one of my favorite classes that I taught. They every week decided that their activity was going to be dodgeball, but they made different rules every single week. So we ended up having a lot of fun together. So in true teacher form, we're going to break down the agenda of today, what we're going to be talking about while you are here. So to get started, we have our intro. We're going to go into details about who we are here with International TEFL Academy. We'll dive into all of the highlights about teaching English in Japan. I'm going to be sharing about my personal experiences, my friends' experiences, so we can paint a picture of what it'll look like for you. We'll go over what the salary looks like, the different benefits, and the requirements in order to get those jobs that you're looking for. There's different types of schools that you can teach in Japan and different opportunities. We're going to go in to break that down for you. We're going to tell you how to get the job. Those details are important. What a daily life looks like, as well as then go into more details on the TEFL certification specifically, since that's one of those requirements to get those jobs. And we'll tell you more about how we help with job search guidance. We connect you with other alumni who are having other experiences throughout your journey. And then, like John was mentioning, we're gonna wrap up and announce who the raffle winner is.
So here are just some quick facts and information about Japan as a country. It's a little bit smaller than California, but it's spread over thousands of islands. It is quite a large country in terms of population, more than 125 million. 37 million live in the greater Tokyo area, which is the largest metropolitan area in the world, and an amazing place. Um, Japan is the world's fourth largest economy after the US, China, and Germany. Among the highest literacy and broadband access rates in the world. Um, Primarily, religions, Buddhism, Shintoism, which is an indigenous Japanese uh, tradition. Some famous Japan brands. I mean, there's so many, but here are just a few. Uh, Japanese love sports. Some of the popular ones: baseball, sumo, soccer, or football, if you wish. They love golf. And of course, Japanese cuisine and pop culture have become, you know, trendy and commonplace worldwide. I mean, I don't know. When I was growing up in the 80s, I don't think we would have imagined, gas station sushi, but there it is.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I ate a lot of that gas station sushi. um, Food was one of the major reasons why I moved to Japan, to be honest. I travel for food, all the sushi, the ramen, the kushikatsu, the yakitori, yakiniku, all of the good things. Um, some other reasons why lots of people want to move to Japan and why it's a good idea for you to be considering this option. There's a huge demand for English teachers. A lot of opportunities out there teaching kids, teaching adults. They have a really good salary. They pay really well and have amazing benefits. The cities are all different. Like John was saying, it's the size of California, but everything is so different from each other. But you can always count on good shopping, good nightlife. Lots of Japanese people like to party and have a good time. But they also focus on work, and they have some of the best high tech infrastructure, singing toilets, all of the good stuff. A lot of amazing history, culture. Um, Everyone, of course, knows about all the anime around Japan. So amazing art, amazing architecture. Um, in the larger cities, there's a lot of expats out there. So it's honestly really easy to make friends and adjust in Japan. That was something that I was really worried about is, am I going to move to this place? I don't speak the language. I don't know much about it. I don't know anyone. What am I doing? I made such amazing friends. I still have a group chat that I talk with people every single day, and this was years ago. Um, so you definitely can build some amazing connections while you're there. I'm a nature girl. I love hiking. I honestly, my favorite hike I've ever done was in Himeji, where I was living in Japan. Nice coastlines, lots of islands, beautiful mountains, um, really low crime rate, super safe place to go. And you can always travel around in Asia. There's a lot of holidays that you get to have some time off, and so I got to travel to South Korea, I got to travel to the Philippines, I got to go to Indonesia, a bunch of spots that you can hop around and check out while you're living over there.
Yeah, now, quickly, I know a lot of people are often wondering, hey, how much can I earn? Can I save? I've heard Japan is very expensive. I've heard about things like key money where I have to put up a big deposit or something to get an apartment. Um, Japan is a great option if you're looking to go somewhere where you can make and save some money. Opportunities to save and salaries are often going to vary depending on your job, your experience, the location of your school, and of course your own, living and spending habits. Learn how to shop like a local. Uh, ride public transportation, go to local markets, you'll probably have better opportunities to save than if you hang out with expats all the time at Western hotels or what have you. Um, so many people are able to save a few $100s, maybe $500, maybe more. Some people will maybe teach online or something to make extra cash, but it's certainly not necessary to, sustain yourself comfortably in Japan. Some schools, including the famous JET program, may provide a flight stipend or reimbursement, or possibly a stipend for housing. That's not always the case. It's just going to depend. Access to great healthcare, paid vacation. When you're looking at startup costs, and these are typically going to include your TEFL certification, maybe you need to get some documents processed, that sort of thing, and then your flight. So as I mentioned, sometimes you get your flight covered, in some cases you won't. That'll, you know, make your startup cost vary a bit. Now, if you have more questions, we have some great articles on our website about startup costs, about Japan. Also, talk to your advisor; they'll have some good ideas on how to, cut corners and save on these as well.
So the requirements to be a teacher in Japan. So you want to have your TEFL certification. Very important because it is a super competitive market. I have a friend of mine that applied to the JET program 5 times before she finally got in because she was applying without TEFL certification and she was not getting in. Once she did her course, she finally made it over there. Um, so that is important. You need to have citizenship from a recognized English speaking country. There's the top 7: US, UK, Ireland, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, or South Africa. There are some opportunities for non-native English speakers. However, you do need to prove that you have a certain level of schooling in all English language schools. So talk with your advisor if you are one of those situations, because you want to make sure that you have a solid game plan good to go, and they can help clear up more details on your specific situation. A bachelor's degree is a requirement. It does not have to be in education, though. It can be in any area. I know I was teaching in Japan with people who had degrees in science and art and so many different things. So they just want to know that you have that bachelor's education. Um, you do need to have a criminal background check done with the FBI in the US before you go abroad. So make sure that you don't have any charges or convictions. If you're concerned about any of that, again, talk with your advisor. They also do a medical check and a drug test. So make sure that those are going to be good and clean to go. In terms of age for Japan, there's not really an official age limit. However, most schools do typically hire teachers anywhere from 21 years old to 50 years old. The reason being is some more mature teachers, it can be challenging to find opportunities because culturally, Japanese people really respect their elders. So for example, your boss couldn't be younger than you, because then they would have to do your job for you. They want to take care of you. So it's just a totally different mindset shift. Um, Again, depends on the school, depends on the opportunities. So chat with your advisor if you do have any questions about any of those stipulations with your specific situations, so they can help clear that up and help direct you towards something that's both fun and also realistic.
Okay, now when you're looking at teaching English in Japan, there are different types of schools that you can work at, different types of students. Um, Many people will teach through the JET school, which is famous government program in Japan where they recruit Americans and other English speakers to teach as an assistant language teacher in Japanese public schools. So, like high schools, elementary schools, middle schools, and so forth. The JET program itself has one major intake application period every year. We'll be discussing that in just a moment. They have placements throughout Japan. Not everybody's going to be teaching in Tokyo or Kyoto or one of the famous cities, but hey, that's okay. There's so many fantastic places in Japan you've never even heard of. So it's good to be open-minded. Um, Many opportunities, however, also, oh, I should mention about public schools that JET is not the only way to get hired to teach in a public school in Japan. There is like another organization called Interact, which also will help place teachers in public schools. But JET is definitely the main player for the public school opportunities. Private language schools, these are very often catering to people working in business who need to learn English for professional reasons, perhaps university students. Um, Parents may sign their kids up for extra English lessons. It's just going to vary and depend. Now, if you're interested in working in language schools, you'll have a lot more say in where you teach because you can just choose which schools you apply to in which regions of the country and what have you. You're not placed like you are in a public school. Also, these schools are more likely to be hiring sort of year round. So you're not necessarily sort of focused on that one main hiring application period like you are with the JET program.
All right. So wanting to look for those jobs, whether it is with the public schools or private schools. Um, there is some documentation that you need to get together. Um, It typically takes 3 to 6 months to process all of that, which is usually done in advance from home. It definitely is a process, getting all of that stuff together, but it is worth it, I promise. Um, the timeline really varies depending on public versus private. Public schools, they are like any public school, right? They have specific start and end dates. Whereas private schools, students might be coming and going, so they do typically hire a little bit more year round. So that's something that you want to consider when you are searching for those jobs. Um, they're going to be looking for TEFL certification, like we said, making sure that it's completed before you're over there. And they're going to get a bunch of documents you're going to get a bunch of documents together to send over for your visa process. Um, in terms of the private schools, most of those schools do hire through recruiters. So you will be working with recruiters. When you enroll here with International TEFL Academy, we do have a lot of resources to support you with that, as well as lists of some recommended recruiters that our alumni have worked with. So you'll have those resources to help guide you through that job search with us. We do also have a guaranteed placement program. So, like I was mentioning earlier, Japan can be a really competitive market. If you're concerned about that and you want to make sure that you have a more guaranteed job the first time and you don't have to wait a whole year like I did, um, we do now have these guaranteed job placement programs where you can work with our partner recruiters. It takes about 6 months for that process, depending on when you're getting started. Um, you do talk with your recruiter about what your preferences are, and they're going to do their best to match you with what that looks like. You'll have assistance with interviews through the whole visa process. There's an orientation, a bunch of other stuff. We'll go more into detail about that later on. But just so you have an idea about that option. And we have so many people who have taught English in Japan here with their TEFL from ITA. So we've helped thousands of people do this. So we definitely are going to be able to help you find a job. As long as you, like I said earlier, if you stick with your advisor, they really do a great job supporting you and navigating you towards resources to actually make it all happen.
Okay, Christy, how about a quick overview of some of the documents that people might need for getting their visa in Japan?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, documents you got to collect up. So obviously, you need your passport. If you don't have that already, jump on that now. You're going to need that clean criminal background check. You do need to get that apostilled, which is like a fancy stamp, basically. If you don't know what that is, once you start TEFL, you'll definitely will, because there are lots of documents with that. You'll have your cover letter and resume, which is also something that we support with. You'll need 2 passport style photos. You need to do that health checkup, stating that you have a good solid health to go over there with, and they will do a drug test. You'll need 2 letters of recommendation. You'll need your academic transcripts and diploma as well. And some of the opportunities will ask you for sample lesson plans, demonstrations of teaching, some mini videos, and stuff like that. So you'll want to make sure that you have all those things together, which, like transcripts and passport, can take a little bit of time. So just make sure you're considering all of that in the timeline process as well.
Yeah, and we've talked a little bit about the JET program already. Again, it's a program that recruits native teachers, native English speakers, and sometimes others to work as assistant language teachers in public schools. It's competitive. There's one application period a year, although at other times of the year, you may get a job in a public school through another organization like Interact. Good pay and benefits, including airfare. Uh, Housing is gonna vary. Um, so let's talk a little bit more about this program here. in terms of the timeline for applying, because this is really important if this is the route you want to take.
It is. Like I said, I missed the deadline. I did my TEFL course in November and I was thinking, oh, I'll be fine to like finish this week and then apply because it's due this day. But the UK, the person I was talking to who did the program, had a different deadline than the US. So you want to make sure you have these deadlines down packed so you're doing it right. So applications open up September. I know fall kind of seems like a long way off, but if you do, like we said, you need to have that TEFL certification, which can take 3 months. So you do want to make sure that you're planning ahead to make sure you have that, you're getting your TEFL certification before you're sending that application in. The deadline is that November date. So each country has different specific dates within that November period. So just be aware of that. They start interviewing late January to early February. Those interviews typically are in person in your local cities. Sometimes they're online as well, though. And then you will find out if you get the job in March, April time. Then you will know what your placement is in May. So you'll find out, okay, you got in or you didn't, or you got waitlisted potentially. And then you will know that, but you won't know where you're going specifically. So you do have to wait a little bit to find out what that location is. So it's a little bit antsy during that time. I actually went to the local Japanese garden hoping like, okay, I want to know what my placement is. And literally I woke up the next morning after that and had an email about my placement and where I was going. It was very funny. Um, that June, July timeline is when you are going to have orientation and preparation to be heading abroad in July or August. They have different groups for the JET program where they send people off in different groups since there's so many people going at the same time. So that's kind of why you have those 2 months, is it depends on which group that you are departing within. So that's kind of a quick rundown about the timeline. So just make sure that you are paying attention to that. Make sure that you get the earlier you start too, the earlier you can start teaching online. And if you are teaching online before you're going, you're saving up extra money for those startup costs. And you're also able to have some experience under your belt when you go in for those interviews. And so it just really does give you that leg up the earlier you get that certification in. You also want some time to maybe practice a little bit of Japanese. I personally didn't speak Japanese when I went over there. I taught myself, I think when I found out my placement, I think like April, May is kind of when I started teaching myself, and I was there in July. So I didn't spend too much time studying, where I know some people who took like a year or 2 years of Japanese classes before. So it depends on what your specific situation and goals are through that. So just think about those little things about that you're going to need to do before the applications even set up so that you have a standout application.
Yeah, excellent points. Excuse me. Now, just generally speaking, when it comes to teaching in Japan, let's say that, hey, you're just interested, you don't necessarily want to go through the JET program. You'll go through a language school when they're hiring year round. This is sort of a basic timeline that you would be looking at. This would also apply if you're interested in teaching in maybe in Korea or many other countries in Asia around the world. Typically, most people take an online TEFL class, takes 11 weeks. Perhaps you need a few extra weeks to wrap up your live practice teaching called the practicum, interviewing and applying for jobs. You know, one of the great things about getting certified online with ITA or with ITA in general is you get worldwide job search guidance. So you can apply for positions in Japan, Korea, you can apply for a government program in Spain or, all over the world. And that just opens that many more doors to you. Typically, the process of applying and interviewing and getting some offers is going to take several months. And then once you accept a job, making those visa arrangements, getting your documents ready, flights, and all the rest, that's going to usually take another 1 to 3 months. So you're typically looking at anywhere from 4 to 5 to 9, 10, 11 months for the whole process to play out. So if you begin your online TEFL course in the next month or so, you should be ready to teach abroad in Japan or elsewhere sometime later in 2025. And as we just mentioned, if you do want to do the JET program, the application window is in the fall. All right. Daily life in Japan, adjusting to it, the sort of practicalities of moving to a new country. We could do a whole webcast about this. I think that, a lot of people who go to Japan, they're really interested in it. They study it and the language and all the rest. And then on the other hand, a lot of people don't. Now, certainly moving to a country like Japan, going to be challenges if you don't know the language. But Christy, these days, signs with all kinds of fancy apps that do translation. There are,
Oh yeah.
a fair number of Japanese who do speak English. What was your experience in Japan, sort of getting used to the language? If you can give me a quick answer, what your own experience was.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I really did not speak Japanese when I went over there. You have to give a self-introduction to introduce yourself to the school when you first arrive, like the first week. And I was so nervous. I was like studying and practicing on the airplane and all of that. But when I did it, everyone was super impressed because I had practiced literally just the duration of the flight. um, but the translation apps are saviors. Didn't I ended up buying toothpaste instead of bleach, so I did the right thing. But I might have bought bleach had I not had one of those translation apps. So those are key. Um, and yeah, there's honestly Japanese people are so nice. Like even people who didn't speak the language, I got lost. I couldn't find like the location for my work party and there were Japanese people that didn't speak any English. I like had my translation app of asking them for directions and this guy literally got off of the train to walk me to my party. He couldn't find it. He asked someone else. They couldn't find it. They asked someone else. I showed up at my work party with like 3 Japanese people and they went back on their own and went back to their life after they dropped me off. So, even though there is that language barrier if you don't speak the language, Japanese people are so friendly and so helpful.
Yeah, and I think, uh, it certainly helps to try to learn at least some of the language in terms of getting around, and people always appreciate it.
Yeah.
Uh, in many of these aspects, things like getting set up with a bank account, usually you get, some sort of direct transfer. Usually your employer will help you with that sort of thing, as well as some sort of general orientation, or if you're with the JET program, they provide, some orientation to help you get acclimated to life in Japan. I think largely it's one of those things that you learn by doing, and that's part of the fun and adventure of moving to a foreign country, whether it's Japan or elsewhere. Uh,
Really quick, the local teachers are super helpful in all of that. Whether you do the JET program or with the private schools, like there's gonna be like local Japanese English teachers, and they are always super helpful. If you need to set up your bank account or you need to set up your phone or anything like that, there will be someone there to support you through that.
Yeah, and depending on where you're teaching too, very often there's a community of other Americans and other expatriates, other English
Yeah.
teachers. Some of them have been around forever. Some people basically do this for life. So, you'll often get to know and become part of that community relatively quickly. Part of the adventure in a place like Japan is learning about, the food and culinary traditions, and they love eating and drinking. We talked about great travel opportunities in Asia and throughout Japan itself. Uh, Christy, what were your workday hours when you were working in the JET program?
Yeah, so I went to work in the morning just as school was starting. Um Probably around like 8 a.m., 8:30, something like that. And then I was at school during the day, and then an hour after school, all of the kids have their different activities, different sports, arts, all that stuff. And so all the teachers, you kind of choose the club that you want to be a part of, or you can choose a couple. And the end of the day, you end up just hanging out with the kids, doing your hobbies. I joined the art club and was doing different arts and crafts. I don't play music, but I went to the Koto Club and they taught me how to play the koto, which was super cool. I got to watch the karate group. I got to hang out with the baseball players, the volleyball players, soccer players. So it's really fun because you are teaching during the day, you get to have lunch with the kids, which is everyone's favorite part, because the kids are just so much fun to have lunch with. They always are super curious about you and they want to learn more, and they're just they always are bringing you presents. I swear, came back with probably 3 boxes of, like, origami photos, paintings, like, different little characters and stuffed animals and all stuff that were just gifts. So, lunchtime was awesome, and after you get to play with them as well.
Yeah, and one
And
thing,
then yeah.
no, I was just going to say, one thing about Japan is it's a country with ancient, amazing culture and traditions. They have loads of fantastic festivals and so forth. Some are regional, some are tied to, different parts of the season, whether it's, cherry blossoms or what have you. Christy, this is a photo you took of some of your pals in Japan at a festival. If you could just give us maybe a quick overview of, what that was like.
Yeah, of course. I got to do a lot of these, which was super fun. So this was one of the matsuris when we first arrived, actually. It was like one of the summer ones. And you get to it's kind of like a parade. So they have these portable shrines, which is what you see behind us. And there's a bunch of people you carry or you wear the outfits. They're called saris, what we're wearing, and you carry the portable shrine down around the neighborhood to the actual shrine itself. There's kids inside playing drums and they're bouncing up and down, and you have like fake fights with the portable shrines. And it's a way of bringing the neighborhood good luck and prosperity before the harvest comes. So this was one of them. There's ones in winter, there's ones in spring, and it's just so much fun. Good food, good drinks. Everyone's shouting and uh, chanting, and it's a really good time.
All right. And we mentioned eating and drinking and, getting together and meeting
Eating and
people like
drinking.
other expatriates and so forth. And, here again, you are with some of your pals. Um,
Yep, this was when I hosted Thanksgiving, in my apartment. So this was actually my apartment, that I lived in that was partially paid for with the company that I got my job with. I had a view of the number one castle in Japan, and so I for Thanksgiving we all were missing home, and we all got together and did a little potluck. So that's what that is.
Excellent. So quickly, Christy, what are some of the resources that we have that people can use to learn more and get more insights into teaching in Japan?
Yeah, definitely. So when I first started looking into teaching abroad, Japan was one of the spots that just kept popping up. And my advisor was super helpful in sending me some different resources. We have great resources before you enroll, but after you enroll, there's even more. I was doing a lot of research before enrolling. And then once I enrolled, I was like, I just wasted so much time because all of the experts here at ITA already did everything. But before you get started, we do have a country profile about Japan specifically. We have blog articles from our alumni who have taught there. We have videos of our alumni who have taught there that show what a day in their life looks like. We have a guide that's a full ebook about specifically Japan. There's a lot of YouTube videos that you can look up as well. And then once you enroll with ITA, we have a lot of alumni groups that you can join, Japan being one. We have them for over 80 different countries. We have them for mature teachers, families, LGBTQ, BIPOC. So you can join those groups and see what teachers are saying right there and then to help you really decide, is this the best country? Is this the best fit? Are there other countries? Are there other options? When I first enrolled, Japan was definitely top of mind, but I kept my options open. And I think I joined like 12 different country groups to see what teachers were saying about different places to really help me decide what was going to be the best fit for me. So we do have a lot of resources. Ask your advisor for them. I know Matt is sending them all in here right now as well. Thank you for doing that. And then also we'll send you the recording tomorrow, and we'll include some of those resources too. So
All right. So TEFL certification is key. It's going to give you the qualifications and training you need, and also the qualification you need to get hired as an English teacher in Japan or anywhere else in the world. ITA offers a variety of highly accredited, award-winning TEFL classes. They all include lifetime job search guidance. The vast majority of our students take their class online. It's a part-time option. Christy, why don't you quickly tell us a little bit about it, as well as a little discount that we have going on right now.
yeah, of course, got that spring discount. So yeah, like John was mentioning earlier, our most popular course is the 11-week online course because it is a part-time option. So if you're working or studying or just living life and have a lot going on, this is the best option. It's 150 hours total of coursework, and there's 20 hours of practicum where you actually have real teaching experience with non-native English speakers before you have that certificate in hand. Um, it's a flexible schedule, this one. So there are live lectures multiple times a week from your professor, but they're not mandatory. So if you can't make it for any reason, don't stress. You'll have access to the recordings and all of that to watch in your own time. You'll have assignments due on Fridays and Sundays to help you stay on track to complete it within the 11 weeks. So it's not like my gym membership where I never end up going or finishing it. Your professor will give you feedback on your assignments to make sure that you're improving throughout the course, as well as making sure that you do complete it successfully. All of our professors, they have a master's, if not PhD, within TEFL TESOL, and they've all taught abroad themselves as well. So I really liked that about the course when I did it myself, because they prepare you for how to teach, but they also prepare you for cultural sensitivity in the classroom, what it's like living abroad day to day. My professor even talked about the psychology of living abroad long term. So you really get prepared for the full experience with this course. It's not just a piece of paper. You're really feeling confident and good to go. The certification is properly accredited. It's recognized in over 80 different countries. Um, and with the course, there's also only 20 students per group. So it's not like you're a triple digit, quadruple digit number. Your professor knows who you are, like they know who you are. They give you the feedback, they help you like improve throughout. So you really do get that attention, and they have office hours as well. So if you can't attend those live lectures, but you still have questions for them, you're always welcome to hop into those office hours that they have. Um, like John mentioned, we do have that discount going on right now. So tuition typically is $1,599, but you're saving $250 if you enroll by the end of the month, April 30th. That is one of those 8-course meals you get in Japan, and it's delicious. So use that money towards that. But yes, this course is a great course. It's our most popular one. 80% of our students take this because it's convenient and it's the most cost-effective option. The next course starts April 28th, which will have you with your certification by July. So you can start teaching online by summer, start applying to those jobs. If you can't start that next one, we do have new classes that start every 2 weeks. So ask your advisor for the schedule, see what works with your schedule, so that way you can be successful and start working towards that game plan. Oh, also really quick, we do have payment plans available. So if you pay in full, let your advisor know you're planning to do that, because we can get you a coupon code to make sure that you're saving a little more right now. And then if you do need to set up a payment plan, reach out to your advisor. We do have those available depending on the course start date that you're going to be starting with.
Yeah, and it's just a quick overview of the curriculum. You can see that it's really comprehensive. With 170 total hours, this course actually covers 40% more content than your typical 4-week, 120-hour professional level TEFL course, which means one, you're learning more material, which is great for your skills. Two, employers see that you've taken a course with more hours and that you have more training. That's something that's going to work in your favor when you're applying and interviewing for jobs. And we're super proud that this course and our organization been named the top provider for TEFL courses and online TEFL courses by Go Abroad for, I think, the 5th or 6th year in a row. So we're super pumped and proud about that. So if you're looking for a top level, internationally accredited and recognized TEFL certification, this is really the gold standard.
All right. So, like we said, the 11-week is our most popular option because it's time flexible. If you are looking for a faster way to get certified, we do have a 4-week intensive online course. It is intense though. So, where the part-time course, it's not mandatory to attend everything live. This one is. It is a full-time course, Monday to Friday from 9:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. It's ran in Central Time Zone, so make sure you check that depending on where you're located, because I know we had people from all over here today. Some evenings you will be doing your practicum hours as well, so make sure that you have your evenings open during the course as well, so you can make sure you have those practicum hours done. Same level of instructors. All of them are professors with their master's or PhD in the field with experience. It is the same level of accreditation. This course is a little bit smaller. So where the 11-week has 20 students, this course has no more than 12 students per course. So you really get a lot of engagement with your professor, with your other classmates, and all of that. Especially since everyone's attending live for this one, you do get more of that engagement with this course. But with the 11-week, you still do get engagement and discussion boards, and if you do attend live. But for this 4-week one, it is a great option if you're looking to get certified as quick as possible from home before you're going. If you're not working or studying or doing anything else and you have the time to put towards it, this is a great option. The tuition for this one is $2,099 US. But if you enroll by the end of the month, we're doing a discount for this course as well, where you're saving $200. So it drops it down to $1,899 if you get enrolled in that. And for both of these discounts, it is for any upcoming course start date. So you can enroll in a course that starts in summer or in fall if you're not able to get started right now and still lock in that discounted tuition.
Yeah, we do offer locations worldwide. So if you want to get TEFL certified in Italy or Spain or Guadalajara, Mexico, you can do that. Typically, if you're looking to go to Japan, you're looking to either take the course online because you can apply an interview for jobs from home, makes it that much more convenient. You're not rushed because you're not sitting around overseas looking to get a job. But these are options, and no matter where you take your course, it's going to qualify you for positions year round. We will send out a link tomorrow with more information about these courses if you're looking to consider them. We do offer an in-person course in Japan itself, in Nagoya, an amazing place. It's a 4-week intensive class. Uh, again, a fantastic location. The staff can help you line up job opportunities after the course. It includes a 1-week cultural orientation in Japan. So if you're interested, we will be sending a link with more information tomorrow.
So the TEFL courses that you're gonna do is the first step. So I like to think of the TEFL course as your major. It's like the 100 level courses that gets the introductory, all the important information with that qualification. We do also offer advanced specialty courses that I like to think of as your minor. They're the different niches within the area of TEFL. So depending on how you want to teach, these are these more advanced level, the 200 level type of courses to help you within those. So we have teaching English online. That is a amazing course. If, like I mentioned, it's a great way to get started teaching online before you go abroad. This course is only 2 weeks long. They honestly didn't have this course when I first got enrolled, and it took me probably a year and a half to figure out what they put in these 2 weeks. So it saves you a lot of time and energy. They help you learn about the different types of online platforms. The professor also helps you create your profile and your intro video. So the students who do this specialty course in particular, they get students a lot faster than those who don't because their profile is exactly what everything is looking for. You'll get a certificate at the end of all these courses as well. So it's something else that helps your resume stand out. If you are wanting to teach in Japan, I highly recommend the Teach English to Young Learners course. Majority of those opportunities in Japan are teaching the kiddos. So this course helps you learn how to do that in particular. Ask yourself, would you feel confident standing in front of a classroom of Japanese kiddos and managing that classroom? What would you do? If you have the slightest little, I don't know what I would do, this is the course for you. Another 2-week course, they cover everything within those 30 hours. If you are wanting to teach more adults, like we said, some of those private language schools do have some opportunities with that. You'll want to look at the Teach Business English. This is how to structure a lesson plan for adults specifically. And so you'll be able to feel more confident teaching adults. It's business, but it's also flexible because there's so many different types of business. So you can really get creative with what you learn in that. If you need to brush up on your grammar, take a look at our Foundations of English Grammar course. It's 4 weeks. We can't cram it within 2 weeks. It's English grammar. It's too long. And then we have 2 new ones, which are our Tutoring English course, which is another 2-week course. So that's a great way if you're planning to supplement your income, if you're looking for more one-to-one opportunities to start your own mini business plan. And our other one is our teaching test prep skills course, which is a really great one for Japan in particular. If you are looking at teaching older kids and if you want to teach adults. The kids in Japan that are in middle school, they have to take English exams in order to get into certain high school programs. So even like early on, they're already taking these English exams and needing test prep for these. So whether you're teaching in public schools or private schools and you want to teach more of the middle school, high schoolers, you really want to have that on your resume. So these will help you build your resume. They'll help you feel confident. The tuition for all of those 2-week courses is only $349. And if you bundle it in with the TEFL course, you save $75 per specialty course, not just one. Like if you do multiple, you save 75 times that. The grammar course, it's 4 weeks, so it's a little more. It's $549, but you get to save $125 if you bundle it on like those 2 weeks. So they really are a great way to just help you feel more confident, boost your resume, and help you stand out in the competitive market that is Japan.
All right. Excellent. I know we're a little over time, but quickly, let's talk a little bit about job search guidance and how ITA can help all of you get teaching opportunities in Japan or elsewhere. This is a critical part of the process, and I think it's an area where ITA really stands out from other TEFL schools. In fact, we get dozens of people contacting us literally every week about job search guidance because they took a TEFL course somewhere and they didn't get the guidance and support they need to actually find jobs overseas. So, Christy, how does ITA actually help our students and graduates get teaching jobs in Japan and around the world?
Yes, of course. So we mentioned like get in touch with your advisor. From starting the journey, you have an admissions advisor. I'm an admissions advisor, Matt's an admissions advisor. Check out who your admissions advisor is to start building that game plan. Once you enroll, you'll also have a student affairs advisor. They are your go-to for all job search guidance once you are a student. They help with your resume and cover letter, which was something that was super helpful for me. Different countries, resumes look a little bit differently. So it's really nice knowing exactly what a resume is supposed to look like in Japan or the other countries you're considering. You get personalized advice from your advisor, as well as access to trainings. We have an alumni corner that is amazing. We recently updated it as well and just looked over it, and it is impressive. It has everything you could want to know. It talks about salary, cost of living, history of the country, top cities, what the job market looks like, what the visa process looks like literally every detail you could think you want to know and then something else. Um, and the job assistance is for life. I tested the boundaries for you guys on that one over the last 10 years, since every year I wanted to go to a different continent. And I was like, do I reach out to my advisor? Did they mean it? I don't know. Doesn't hurt to ask. I sent a message every time they got back to me with the resources I needed to make jobs happen all around the world. So the advisors really are helpful. Like I said, follow their advice, stick with that. You're going to be good to go.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, we do have some guaranteed job placement programs for Japan and some other Asian countries, including Vietnam and Thailand and South Korea. These are premium products, which they do have an extra cost to provide extra personalized support with all sorts, with basically every step of the process, from helping you gather your documents. This is a program where we actually and our team actually arrange the interviews for you. It includes 40 hours of culture and language training, 1 week of cultural orientation in Japan, including all sorts of tours and excursions and workshops. We're working with experienced teachers, learning how to adjust to life in Korea as an English teacher. All about the etiquette of working in Japan and so forth. You have access to additional support if you're having issues like, homesickness or maybe culture shock or something like that. There are requirements as far as age and degrees. Those are going to vary by country. So we'll be sending out a link for this program tomorrow in the follow-up email. Check it out. Get in touch with your advisor if you have questions or if you think it's something that you're interested in, and they'll walk you through everything in detail.
Yeah, here's an example of our job placement ebook that goes into all the different details. So here's a page of that ebook. Matt, if you have the time, if you can pop that in the chat, that would be great. But like John said, you will be getting that in the follow-up email tomorrow as well. But it talks about the different types of schools that you can find placements in. It talks about the cities where most of the teachers end up going to that do the placement program. It talks about the timeline. It talks about that cultural orientation. Honestly, the cultural orientation I did when I moved to Japan is where I met amazing friends who didn't necessarily even live in the same city as me, but then we had a free place to stay whenever we wanted to travel to another city. So, um, the orientation, having that extra support with the guaranteed placement, if it's especially if it's your first time moving abroad, it really does make the difference. And the guaranteed placement program also is for life too. So if you teach for a year and you decide you want to teach for another year in Japan, great. Talk with the recruiter about that. If you decide, oh, I did a year in Japan, now I want to do South Korea or Vietnam or Cambodia or any of the other locations, your job placement is for life. So you'll have that recruiter to support you with any of the opportunities that they have.
That's right. And finally, here, let's talk for one moment about the ITA Alumni Association. I think this is another matter which really sets ITA apart from other TEFL schools out there. From the very beginning, we've sought to build an international community of teachers and travelers that enable our students and alumni to connect with each other and network really around the globe. And now that we have virtually 50,000 alumni, we have people teaching in 80 countries, including a whole bunch of them in Japan. So we provide all sorts of exclusive Facebook groups where, as soon as you enroll in your class, you can get in there and start contacting other ITA graduates who are already teaching in Japan and ask them questions. Hey, what do you think of Tokyo compared to, teaching in Sapporo and Hokkaido? Or
Himeji.
uh hey, can I get peanut butter in Japan? Or whatever questions you might have, or however mundane they may seem, you can connect with people. These are also provide opportunities once you move to Japan or wherever you end up teaching, to set up meetups, to meet other folks, maybe for a beer or coffee, or having a group meetup. People will share job tips, so very often you'll check into maybe the Japan Facebook group, and somebody be like, "Hey, my school is hiring, in whatever city or region. If you're interested in, reach out to me." So there's all sorts of different ways that our students are able to connect. We like to sponsor various contests. If you like telling your story, we have hundreds of alumni articles and videos. We do Instagram takeovers with our alumni and so forth. So if you want to do any of that sort of thing, creating content for yourself will help you do it and promote it. Excuse me. Christy is an ITA graduate. How did you use or tap into the alumni community as an ITA student?
Yeah, when I first enrolled, I still hadn't fully pinpointed where I wanted to go, so I joined a bunch of different groups to see what people were saying about different places. Then the first time I went to move abroad, like I mentioned, I went to a shorter term spot before I went to Japan. There was a group of like, I don't know, something like 15 of us that all moved at the same time to the same place. We met up for drinks and food, and I'm still friends with them to this day. I just got a baby announcement last year from a girl I met in one of these groups 10 years ago. So I've made really good friends in the groups. She's like Tia Christie, so I'm Auntie Christie. I know people who found jobs, like you mentioned. I found housing in these groups actually, and where to find your important things. For me, that's hot sauce, like you said, peanut butter, tequila, the important things. So they really do support you with being able to connect with other like minded people and help you navigate the whole process.
Okay, and there's one of our other staff members, Ambrosia, down there on the left, who taught in Korea, among other countries. Another graduate of ITA who, like Christy, is now working with us, and she was in South Korea and held a little meetup there with some of our teachers, some of our graduates there. So just one little example of the ITA alumni community in action, probably in some faux Irish bar. I imagine somewhere in or near Seoul.
Sounds
Uh,
about right.
yeah.
Yeah, so you guys, We're here to help you. Moving abroad can seem like a really intimidating process. You don't have to do it by yourself. Every single person here with International TEFL Academy, we've all taught abroad, so we know what it looks like, tastes like, smells like, all that stuff. So if you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out to your advisor. If you don't know who your advisor is, go on our site and make sure that you pull something up there. You can email us too at info@internationalteflacademy.com, and we can direct you towards your advisor if you don't know who it is. So you can talk directly with someone who's done it before. And that really helped ease my mind because I didn't know anyone who had done it. And it just kind of seemed like oh, people do this online, but it's not real. But after I talked with my advisor who did it, it really helped me paint a better picture. And I hope that we were able to help paint a picture for you today. But talk with your advisor who can go into more details for you based on your specific situation and goals.
Yeah, and I think you were just
Oh,
talking.
there we are. Getting ahead of myself. But yeah, so next steps, how to make it all happen, chat with your advisor. Next step is choosing which TEFL course is going to be the best fit for you. Are you looking for more of a part-time option? Are you looking for more of a full-time option in person, online? If you aren't sure, talk with your advisor. We've helped thousands of people choose the best course for them and the best plan of action. So definitely find that right TEFL course for you to be successful. And then once you got that, I consider my TEFL certificate my second passport. You get to experience the world, travel, get paid to travel, help people all around the world in Japan, online, wherever else your path takes you.